um, trying to figure out
Oh,
how to get everything situated online is so frustrating. It's like, it seems like it should be easy, but then you try to start streaming and all of a sudden it's like the things that you thought would be straightforward. It's like, well, how do I move that thing over here? Or how do I move that thing over there?
yeah, exactly. And then like I was thinking like, oh, like with Twitch, like they should have like an environment where you're able to test out the features like how it is on like StreamYard. You're able to like test out the mic and the audio and all that jazz. But I
Sure.
had to do it live and I'm just like, this is super embarrassing.
It's, yeah, there's got to be a better way. I saw on some YouTube channel that this guy recommends creating like a dummy Twitch account to test everything out and using the settings. And I did that, of course, way after the fact, and it seems like a whole lot of work. So I don't know how many people actually do that, but that was his suggestion. He's a bigwig. He knows what he's talking about.
I mean, that's smart. I mean, it's just pretty much like bumping in the dark for the most part.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So you said you're going to start using Streamlabs when you stream.
Yeah, yes, it's going to be a learning process, but I'm going to try using Streamlabs because I do have these amazing layouts that I got that I need to put to good use. So yeah, it's all
Nice.
very exciting though. I can't wait to engage with other people and like be able to see the feedback and chat and share and enjoy the fun things the world has to offer.
Yeah, it's streaming was still something I'm figuring out, and there's definitely a learning curve, at least for me. And I feel like the most relevant, I guess, advice or information I could give you is just start doing it. Just start putting stuff out there and start talking to people and just have conversations, and then the rest of you'll figure out how to add all that stuff or extra little things, because most of the time people just want to hang out and have a conversation and see how
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. I feel like I'm like thinking like, "Oh, I got to write a schedule. I got to do this." I mean, yes, you have to have some sort of format in mind, but also like you have to find a groove to it too. Um because I know that like I'm like thinking like, "Well, what exactly is my talk show going to be like?" And I'm like thinking, "Well, I'm just a really super curious person. I mean, I just want to know the cool stuff that people do and I want to share that, you know? I mean, I love D&D and I love the community and of course that's going to be a very integral part of my streams and my shows and stuff, but like I feel like, I want to like expand like uh in fact, I actually spoke with a guy who worked with Stan Lee as like an artist
Really.
and I was thinking, like, he would be so cool to have on the show to just, like, pick his brain. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so, like, I think if something is interesting, I would love to share it with other people and have them learn and have some experience from it. So,
Are there some podcasts that you listen to right now, or is there any type of media that you regularly listen to?
you know what? I listen to Star Talk quite a lot. I love science. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I like their format because it's very laid back and it has a central theme of like, oh, it's science, but they talk about science as it applies to everyday situations, like make it make sense, you know? So I feel like I want to have like a format that has a theme, but like I think it's more centered on the creativity of the individual and then just like, expand on that. What does creativity mean to like people and how does that affect them and the world around them?
Yeah, I think when they can make it relevant to the real world is helpful with whatever type of podcast you're listening to, because there's so much technical jargon out there. Like I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan, and he's got all kinds of people on there. So I tend to listen to the people that are either comedians, and I like a lot of the people that like Graham Hancock. He had on there. Do you know who Graham Hancock is? Are you familiar with him?
No, I'm not familiar.
He's one of the guys who has this theory about the ancient apocalypse, where in essence human society goes back way farther than it's currently theorized to have existed. So he has
Oh, that's
these theories about, yeah,
cool.
human civilization that was way more developed and way more advanced. I think it's like 10 to 20,000 years before recorded history supposedly began. And so
Like before the Aztecs and the Mayans and
yeah, like before ancient Egypt, before all of that. So there's research that he's done that discusses, why some of that's relevant or why
that's
some of the evidence points to
cool.
that. Yeah. And then he brings in a scientist and they talk about the scientific connections and implications. And it relates to, there's something that was called the Younger Dryas impact, which is basically an asteroid cluster that in essence carpet bombed Earth, supposedly, and wiped out this ancient civilization, or this pre-civilization.
So much like the dinosaurs in a
yeah,
sense.
yeah, that Earth is rotating through these meteor showers constantly, and we have maybe an imperfect view of human civilization. So I like to listen to the comedians he has on there. I like to listen to those types of kind of, I don't know if they would be fringe theories, but just counterpoints or skeptics of the current current
you're
current
having an
dogma.
open perspective on it.
Sure, yeah, it makes you think about stuff. And so I think there's Lex Friedman does something similar. He has people. Are you familiar with Lex Friedman at all?
Who's that?
Lex Friedman.
Haven't heard of him.
Yeah, he's a
now I gotta write it down.
Yeah, he's an MIT. If you like the science stuff too, especially, he's an MIT AI technology researcher, professor, or specialist. But he has people from all sorts of walks of life on there. So he talks about the kind of connections between AI and society and science as well, and like also the human element.
That's fun.
Yeah. He's got a lot of good guests. He talks about chess. He talks about martial arts. He talks to people from the left and the right and people who aren't even anywhere in there. So there's a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah, because like I was actually talking with a friend about like my format, and she was saying that like, oh, like watch the show Hot Ones, because that's basically what they're doing. They're just bringing on people from all different walks of life and having them eat very spicy stuff, but also talk and interview.
Is that the Hot Wings? Is that the Hot Wings one where they have them eat the hot wings? Such a great format. It's such a great format, and
But I swear I'm not
simple.
Gonna make anyone eat any ghost peppers or anything. So
whatever you could think of is people are craving. I think people just being normal, especially since COVID and everybody disconnected from each other in the real world, and there's still this like distance that exists, I think, for a lot of people. So just seeing people be normal, I think, helps people a lot, or just doing things that normal people would do, eating food, talking, having coffee.
Yeah, it's that human connection. I think everybody really strives to have that nowadays, that deeper connection, and I think that's so fun, because that's why I think that's why podcasting has become so popular in streaming, just because like, hey, I want to share now. I want to connect with you now. I don't want to be separate anymore. Let's come together and hang out,
Yeah.
And that's, that's part of the human connection. Like, we were all small tribes of hunters and gatherers who knew each other and like worked together. Like, we're just on a broader scale now. I mean, sectionalized, we're not going to all be in one place, but at least we're trying to reach out, So
it's funny you bring that up, because I've had conversations with a lot of people in the kind of the circle of RPG club, or people that I work with professionally, and many of them feel like the best friends we have now are people we've met on the internet or through Instagram. And I've never met most of the people that I work with or most of our players in person. I've just met them all, online, but our interests are so much more in common than, most of the people in my neighborhood. It's a strange world we're living in.
And we're so accepting of not having legs. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hold on. My wife was sending me a message here. Hold on. Let me text her and just say I'm having a conversation here.
I'll take a sip of coffee.
Yeah, get some. What kind of coffee are you drinking?
I'm probably drinking too much, but it's the iced Starbucks with the oat milk. Yum.
So are you a Starbucks fan? Is that like your go-to, or is it just you can go to it because it's nearby?
Yeah, I like Starbucks. It's good. It definitely has that good balance of sugar and caffeine. So
you like the sugar in the coffee?
Yeah, I kind of weaned away from frappuccinos. That's like high school stuff. So
that's like a milkshake. You just
that's just
a really high octane.
I used to love having the what is it called? It was the It had brownies in it. What is it called? Okay,
A
come
sundae?
on, coffee and brownies.
It had
Is it the
brownies in it.
dou
Holy shit.
is it the double chocolate frappuccino? It has, like, an insane amount of calories, but it's so good.
It's a great way to start your day. I'll have a cup. I'd have a cup full of brownies, please. And I'll have to try that
Well, and then
sometime.
there's, like, even, like, a secret menu item, like, I think you can order, like, the Captain Crunch shake. That's pretty
I didn't know
good.
Starbucks. I knew that. I get so excited. I know that In-N-Out has a secret menu, but Starbucks also has a secret menu.
Yes.
I
Yeah, try
have
the
you.
Captain Crunch frappuccino, like, you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, Sharon is right."
Captain Crunch always sticks to the top of my mouth whenever I eat the
Mhm.
cereal. I haven't had it in years, but it's always like,
Or ju
oop, hello. Let's see if we can get. Let's
or
see if
just
we can get.
saws your
There we
mouth with
go.
all, like, the hard sugar. Can you hear
There we
me?
go.
Whoa,
Yep, I
we're
got you. I
back.
got you. I think we had it. I think the internet decided to take a break for just a second. She's back. Sharon's good. We're good. Everybody's
Woo,
good.
we're good.
Yeah, we're okay. Um, Linka, one of our club members and viewers, is out there. Linka, how are you? I'm glad you're here. You were in here a while ago. I just wanted to say hi. Appreciate you being here.
Hello,
Um,
hello.
Linka asked if we're doing well. I think I'm doing well. Sharon, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, I'm surviving, nothing is caught on fire, so we're off to a good start.
That's a good. That's a good thing. Are you looking forward to fall? Are you somebody that looks forward to the fall season at all?
Yes, in fact, right now it's actually gloomy outside and I'm really enjoying it. Like, it has been so hot for the past couple of weeks over here, like in the hundreds, and ugh, we're actually getting a nice cool breeze for once, and I'm just waiting for that first leaf to fall.
It hits the ground. You're like, it's on. Time to get the chili pot ready to go. Time to get the pumpkin spice latte
Yes.
on the menu.
Are you a fall person?
I like I Yeah, I like fall. I think that I used to like. I don't know, fall's. Yeah, I would say I'm a fall person. The Since I moved to the Midwest and we've been here the last 5 years, it's
Oh, you're
been.
not in, New York anymore?
No. We used to be out on the East Coast for a while, and then I've been in Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, and then Dayton, Ohio for probably about what is it, 4.5, going on 4.5 years now. And it's just
Really?
the humidity of the summer is just like not exciting. It gets humid,
Yeah.
sticky, and then the fall is pretty nice. So I'm looking
Ooh,
forward to it.
that's awesome. Because I was about to say, like, "Oh, fall in New York is actually pretty nice though, isn't it?"
I think it is. I've never been to fall in New
It
York, but yeah, I think it's probably pretty. It's probably pretty damn
Yeah,
nice.
sure.
Yeah, hell yeah. So you told me that when we were chatting ahead of time before we got on camera that you played for a while. You'd been in a regular D&D game for a while, but now took some time off because you moved a little bit, moved around,
Yeah.
got settled. So what's the D&D schedule look like for you, or the role playing session or schedule look like for you coming up?
Listen, like, I've been dying to jump back into D&D for quite a while now, and my schedule pretty much is I'm open evenings and open weekends for the most part, and I've been really dying to play either, like a Curse of Strahd campaign or, you know what? I just had it in my head 2 seconds ago, um, Waterdeep.
Gotcha.
And, like, it's funny because, like, Waterdeep, I feel like it's a destination in my fantasy palace brain that I wanna go to because, like, I read about, like, the giant statues in the city.
For sure.
Yeah, and that, like, you could talk to them and, like, I wanna bring my character in the game so he could talk to the statues.
So you have in your mind this. You need to go to this place in the game because do you think it like
Yes,
actually
I
lives
need
in
to
your
go
mind?
there.
Like it exists as an actual place that you have to visit. I think that's
Yeah.
one unique thing about role playing games is that it can create these unique places where we feel like we have to go. I'm going to ask you something here. I actually just thought of this. Have you thought of running a game?
Oh, you know what? I have thought of it and I have such great ideas, but then, like, that social anxiety kinda, like, it's one part anxiety and one part like, man, like I'm putting the pressure on myself. I need to make sure that this is good, you know? So like I kind of get in the way of wanting to jump the gun and doing it. Um because I have thought of like really interesting like scenarios for the players to jump into, or like interesting campaigns of like, oh, you enter a city and everybody's made of stone and you're trying to figure out what exactly happened to this lost civilization. And it's actually, that concept is based off of like this game called The Forgotten City. You guys should check it out. It's amazing. Um but yeah, I am a creative person and I want to like expand on that. I need to do that. But I feel like I need to pick victims to endure the errors, the trial and errors.
You just got to run one session. All you got, once you run one, you'll feel way less nervous. And it's totally nerve-wracking to run a session. But remember this, sometimes it takes people 45 minutes to figure out whether or not to open a door. So if you're playing and you're trying to
True.
play, for 3 or 4 hours, and you're not going to get through everything that you've prepped. You'll have hours of content, you'll have this whole thing in your mind, and then they're going to want to talk to that little kid that is running around the square like selling candy, and they'll be like, oh, can we talk to that person for an hour? And they could be our mascot. What's their backstory? Where's his mom? And you're sociable, you're friendly, you'd be great at it. I'm going to start putting pressure on you in our chats afterwards and in our Discord. You got to give it a try. But yeah,
okay.
It'd be helpful if you picking some players, like you say, picking some victims, pick some people you've played with before that you're comfortable with, and just be like, we're going to try this hour and a half. You could totally crush it. You could do it.
All right, Adam.
You're like, shut up. Nope.
Let's go.
Okay. I won't pressure you.
He's like, oh my God, make it end.
Well, I'll be quiet. I'll stop there. Yeah, it can be challenging to get there the first time. And
yeah,
okay,
like what's good advice for like up and coming DMs? Like, should you get like the Dungeon Master's Guide, or is that too heavy-handed? Should you just wing it?
No, having prepping is a good idea for sure. The thing that probably helps the most is being able to facilitate a meeting. So really, if you're trying to figure out how to get started, if you can give everybody an equal share of either the spotlight or an opportunity to share what they want to do and what they want to talk about, and feeling confident saying, okay, it's your turn. Or, oh, wait a second, we want to make sure this person gets a chance. If you can do that, and then you have a one-pager of notes, for the most part, you're going to be okay, because your players will do most of the work for you. They have stuff that they're going to want to do usually. So you don't have to create the whole story. As long as you set up a problem, when in doubt, just have somebody shady looking enter a room and be like, there's a dark looking character entering from the back. You can't see them. They go and sit down. And they'll be like, oh shit, what is that? And then they'll spend 2 hours trying to figure it out.
You hear a squeaky toy in the corner. Huh?
That's right. Yeah, just throw a squirrel, and they'll go after it. Linka says, I feel like you can really have friendly players help with that first experience as long as you're having fun. Absolutely. If you have friendly players who that helps a lot. It helps you, D&D is a social hobby. And I tell that to all the people who ask, I'm like, it's a social game. Don't worry. It's not a video game. It doesn't have to be, balanced and perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I feel like, cause there's also different styles, right? Like you could have a very like RP driven D&D campaign. And then there's also the ones where, what is it? Where you fight like big scale battles and stuff. I know there's a name for it.
It's almost like a war game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think Gygax actually did that initially for D&D for a while.
I know what you're talking about. The name escapes me, but I remember that he would do like epic scale battles, and they would have yeah, all kinds of things going on that are harder to track than just 4 or
Yeah.
5 people. Um, yeah, it's an interesting hobby because you always feel, or at least I always felt when I was running games more regularly, that I would have an idea of how things would go, and then as soon as the thing would start, it would just go completely. I mean, not off the rails, but just in a completely different direction. So being flexible helps. Being able to
Mhm.
just say, "Hey, it's not. I'm here to facilitate. I'm here to support. I'm here if a player needs some coaching on." If a player, I see this a lot on a lot of the forums and a lot of the questions that I see online where people ask, like, somebody's just playing really slowly, or they just don't know what to do. It's like, well, it's probably because they don't know what to do. Like maybe if you
Yeah.
help them, they will have an idea. Like people just don't understand usually what all the options are. So giving them some suggestions of like, hey, try this, try that, that can help a lot.
Yeah. Are you in any D&D campaigns right now?
Right, right. Full disclosure, right now I don't have time to play or run anything right now. I
Are
am,
you kidding me?
yeah,
Adam,
I
the
know,
head of the RPG
I know,
club is not in a D&D campaign?
I
What
know.
is going on?
I don't have any time. I may try to get in one where I can play maybe like once a quarter in the fall.
Once a quarter.
It's tough over the summer because we have a kiddo, and when she's around at home, that it's just there's a lot going on over the summer. So maybe as things calm down in the fall, I'll be
Have
able
you
to.
ever had, like, your family play a D&D campaign, like a family D&D night?
No, my wife hates it. She's not into it. She supports me. She supports what I'm into, and she supports what I like. But she's like,
Oh, that's
she'll watch,
awesome.
like she's watched Star Wars and Lord of the Rings with me, but she's just like not my thing. And my daughter, the other side of our family, we're all very active, so we love to move around and be outside. So we do lots of like hikes and sports, and
Oh,
go
how
go to the
fun.
theme park and do stuff like that together. It's
Yeah, just
kind of where we
mixed
find
into one
ourselves.
shot, Adam, I think.
Yeah, like my daughter and I like to do kind of improv storytelling. So I'll tell her like little fantasy stories at night when I put her to bed, and she loves that. So she's basically doing D&D, but she doesn't realize it. So that's our little moment. And
That's
sometimes she'll
cute.
paint. Yeah, she'll paint minis with me. Sometimes she likes to do that. So
Yeah, that's actually very therapeutic. I actually miss
yeah,
doing that too.
yeah, yeah, for sure. It's I don't do it that often just because I try to do it when I'm really into it. And right now I'm really into several other things I'm trying to get better at. I'm trying to learn how to build a website much more effectively than I have in the past. So that's kind of thing one. And I'm also really into chess right now. I'm trying to get better at chess. I've become,
Yeah, that's really exciting that you're
yeah,
building a whole brand spanking new website for all the D&D players. So,
I'm
how is
trying.
that so what is the format of the website? Are you able to find, like, events and
Yeah, it should be, when it's all said and done, it should be a very easy, seamless place for people to go on, find a game, find a GM, find other people, and actually spend time there. So the idea behind it was to create one place, because right now when people go online and try to find a game anywhere, it's cobbled together through some type of hosting platform where you find your game, and then you go over to some other program to talk to everybody. Then you have to log in over here to play. So we're
Yeah.
trying to find where it's just one place where everyone can go and everyone can spend time. And it's just a more, like, a seamless process for people. So it's because if the process gets in the way, then it's harder to enjoy it. So that's the goal. And
Yeah, because I
we'll get
feel
there.
like the hosting platform or, like, where you post, the games is kinda like the gateway into, like, the Discord community, which, like, is
Oh yeah,
amazing. There's so many lovely people there, GMs, players, or just people who are just interested in D&D itself, like, such a very lively and friendly community, and I think it would be really beneficial to just have everything lumped into one place, and then
absolutely.
also, like, the hosting platform can kinda get glitchy too,
Oh,
like,
for sure.
kind of a
Meet
bit of
it.
a headache.
Meetup is very frustrating, and that's the kind of stuff that I just want to eliminate, because there shouldn't be barriers for people to enjoy what they're trying to enjoy. So every step you go through is another thing where people go, they could have a chance to say, "Oh, this sucks. I don't want to do this." And it's already
Yeah,
hard enough to play a role playing game because a lot of people are dealing with social anxiety or the challenges of trying something new. And then when
yeah.
you add those technical hurdles, it's just like, why are we doing this? It's like, "Ah, I'll just go watch Netflix." And that's ultimately, I don't think, as enjoyable as getting together with people.
Yeah, you wanna make it as seamless as possible, and I think that's such a great goal to work towards too with this website because I think I think everybody will breathe a sigh of relief once it is, like, complete, because then it's just, it's a one-stop shop for everything, for community and for games and for GMs to find players, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
I
everybody's
hope.
dream, and I am
I
so
hope.
surprised that D&D Beyond hasn't, like, picked up on that.
Well,
What?
I think, yeah, I think it comes down to their motivation as a company, because what I've seen is their motivation is in selling product, which
Mhm.
is fine. I mean, that is what Wizards and D&D Beyond produces. They produce product and merch for people to buy. So, if they put different, I think that's their focus. So, that's what we're trying to provide. Opera Sun here asks, is there going to be an awardable, earnable badge system? Yes. So on the new platform, which we are still making sure that this works the way it's supposed to, there's going to be a different ranking badge system than people have seen on other sites. So it's all going to be
Ooh.
positive. It's going to be something where you can, at the end of a session or at the end of an experience, basically give each other XP for how you played, different positive qualities for, like, hey, Sharon did a great job at role playing. And then you're going to
You
get some
level
type of,
up?
there actually will be leveling up, both for players and GMs on the site. So you'll get to level up. And it's a way for people to see, sometimes if you're looking to play with certain people, you want to figure out where you're at the same, are you in the same space in terms of your progress? Or maybe you're looking to help out a new group, or maybe you're looking for a GM who's trying something out or who's good at a certain thing. So it'll be able to, I think it's just going to be a lot more informative. And it's in the language that gamers tend to speak, which is, I think it's going to make it more fun than just, did you like the game? It's like, well, that's a broad question. It's like, most of it, yes, but there's so much more to it. People are good at different things, and they should be able to recognize or be able to share that with other people.
That's a very good question. That's actually very exciting. What a fun detail.
Yeah, it's designed to where it should be designed. We're still making sure that it's working the way it's supposed to. Its goal is so that we can add things as the community says, like, hey, we should have something in here that fits whatever thing. Like if somebody's good at something, like Linka says here, I will definitely level up in the cat photo bomb category. So if there's something like that where the community is like, we need to add this is happening frequently, we'll be able to add in different things. And one thing I really am trying to add in is the campaign completion awards, because I know a lot of our players have completed 2, 3, 4, 5 campaigns, and that's something that we've had that's come up quite a few times of, hey, can I get a badge for that? So I think that would be cool. We're trying to do that.
Yeah, because like, how, like, on Twitch, you'll get, like, a badge for how many, like, months or years you've been with that,
Mhm.
Twitch stream? That's a good idea.
Same thing. We're trying. The main thing is that it just works. Before, like, I'm learning that the more you start adding on to the basics, the harder it gets for everything to work. So the goal is to just keep it simple, keep it straightforward, and let the players and the GMs drive where things go. Give people some fun tools, give them a seamless way to connect, and hopefully it will be it will be, because I'm committed to it, but hopefully soon it will be better than especially what we're dealing with now. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And is there, like, a feature where you could provide feedback too? Like,
Yeah,
maybe
tell me more about what you're thinking.
well, no, like, say, for example, if someone didn't really enjoy their first session or something, and, they have, like, concerns, like, write in, like, a chat bubble or something that says, like, "Oh, I'm not sure how to play this game. The feedback wasn't clear, blah, 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 blah,"
Yeah,
and then have, like, the GM reach out to them or someone from the community, like a mod or
for
something.
sure. Yeah, the as it exists now, there's basically going to be a button that says "Need help? Here's Adam," and they'll just be able to. I mean, I'll be accessible, and we have some people on our team that are all very supportive of players, and we want people to feel like they can connect with people and try new
Yeah.
things and not feel fear. And if it
Yeah,
doesn't
or
go well,
overwhelmed,
yeah, it can be overwhelming. So we want that to be accessible, where people can just say, "Hey, I have a question," or "This didn't go as expected," and we'll fix it. We'll take care of people. I
Yeah.
just want people to be able to play, because this all goes back to me as a 7th grade kid wanting to be able to play more role-playing games and not having the access to it, and just saying like, why can't this just happen? This should be easy. There's people everywhere. Why can't we just do this? So now we have
Well,
the
I'd like to thank little Adam for starting this.
little child Adam wanting to play the Star Wars game. So Opera Sun says, what games do you run, Barry? Do you have a favorite module system? So Barry, go for it. What do you enjoy?
I'm not running anything right now, but maybe in the near future I'll be able to run a campaign once I overcome the social anxiety and that. And for favorite module or system, I have only really played 5e. So that's what's really funny, because for as long as I've like hung out with the D&D club or the RPG club now,
Yes,
I have
changing the
actually
name.
only played in a few games. I've actually completed one campaign where my druid went to level 20 and is forever a god, whatever.
No big deal. Not gonna lie.
Whatever.
Small god, big god, whatever. It's all the same. It's all gods.
Yeah. So I think I really am enjoying 5e. For right now, I haven't really dipped my toes in any other type of system yet.
Sure.
I know that there's like there's a space one that I've been wanting to try. I forget the name of it. But it has like star maps, and it's a whole different. It's basically like the Wild West, but you're traveling to different star systems and different planets. I forget what it's called.
Is it what is it? Is it Coriolis? Firefly?
No, but I will check that out.
Yeah, I could send you some review stuff.
Because like I was about to say Starfield, but that's a video game that's going to be coming out.
Is it Starfinder?
Maybe, yeah.
There's a lot of good space ones out there, and it's I would encourage you to try out different systems, because the rules in different systems emphasize the type of story you're telling, which I think can be really fun. Could be.
Even
Is it Spelljammer?
One I would love to try.
Opera Sun just puts up. Is it Spelljammer? Because that's within.
See, because that's 5e too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Spelljammer.
5e setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was thinking more like Star Trek-y. I feel like that one's more fantasy space, but which is cool because like you get to play like an astral elf and whatnot, and I think that's really fun. And you get to play. Isn't there like you get to play like ooze people or something?
I think so. Yeah, I think there is a new race. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
But there's so many new things out now with 5e. But yeah, there's so many players that have only experienced role playing through 5e, which is, I think that's probably the biggest strength of 5e, is the marketing power behind Wizards and their ability to bring in the game to new players.
Yeah.
But there's so many different cool stories out there and cool systems that can help you as a player, help individual players tell stories that are maybe more what they're looking for. Because I hear a lot of critiques from newer players about, well, I got to learn this mechanic or do that mechanic. So many more systems are actually more simple and streamlined to just kind of get all that out of the way. And then it's like, here, we're going to just do this one thing really well. So.
Yeah, because I think there was even like another system that I thought was interesting. Is it Morkborg?
Yeah, Morkborg. I've heard of that.
And that is such a brutal, it's a brutal world. And like, I'm just like, what is going on? Why did someone write this?
Yeah, it's in essence just like hardcore death metal fantasy where you're probably going to die very quickly. It's badass. I had a copy for a while. I don't know what happened to it. It was. And I was like,
wait, fantasy is supposed to be easy and fun. Why is this dark and scary? Aren't you supposed to escape the stresses of the world?
Welcome to hell. Yeah.
Here's a bone saw, but it's actually made out of bone.
Yeah. Like, if you were bone, your leg is missing. I tend toward. I think that D&D can be a little bit too light for me in that sense. That's why sometimes I get frustrated with some of the expectations of. I feel like there might be happy ending syndrome that a lot of people might have based on just the tone of some of the material.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but it's just for my preferences. But hey, if I'm running a game for someone, it doesn't matter what I want. But it's, if I'm playing, I'm kind of like, All right. What's the body count? How are we suffering?
How are we suffering?
How are we suffering? How do we escape this hellscape?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Isn't there a D&D campaign where you descend into Avernus?
Yeah.
Already
Which
answered my own
which
question.
is actually very, very popular among players, and actually among our youth players. Like they're like the kids just sign up for that one. Like they're like, let's
Really?
do it. They're like, let's get it. Like every time we put up a new listing for one of those, they're just like, I want hell. I want demons. And the parents are like, oh, it's fine. They're just living their dream. And I'm like, okay.
And here I am wanting to be like an elf ranger, like a la Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. You're like, I just want to be in Rivendell. Don't hurt me. Lincoln
Yeah, I've
mentioned
heard
GURPS
of GURPS.
Discworld as another system, and then Opera Sun was talking about pain being the hot sauce of life. Ah, yes, the hot sauce of any campaign. Just make your character and then just destroy them, or have the DM destroy them. Yeah.
The hot sauce of life.
So what else you got going on outside of your future streaming venture that I know you're working on and getting back into D&D and you've completed your move? What else do you have going on in your life right now?
I'm just trying to dodge the heat and, working that old, 9 to 5, working from home desk. I mean, I'm trying to make it sound glamorous, but it's actually really not. But actually I have recently went to Yosemite a couple months ago, so that was pretty
Nice.
exciting, and I have a couple of trips planned for this year, so pretty excited. Probably going to share it with y'all, but that's just going to be a surprise. So
Okay. Awesome. Well, your Twitch account, hold on, I'm going to make sure I pull it up. I'm going to share it with people because you're starting a Twitch account. Do you want me to share it or do you want me to not share it?
Share
I know
it.
we were talking about tech stuff at the beginning, so I don't want to.
No, guys, politely ignore the first video.
Yeah, you're just getting started, so you're just in the process of figuring it out, and this is a new venture for you. That's
the uncut version of what's.
That's right.
Behind
the scenes, early adapters. Everybody's jumping in early. Yeah, so there's always challenges when you're starting off, something new. But one of the hardest things is just getting it going and just starting and actually doing it. You've already done that, so you've got it going, and that's something that you should be proud of. And
thank you.
And you're on Instagram too, right? You have stuff on.
Yes, Instagram at Bearybot, keeping it very simple. And I was like thinking about naming my talk show too, but the first one that came to mind was Bot Talks, but I don't think that's a good name.
You don't want to do
obvious reasons.
Bot Talks. There we go.
Although it's probably a very easily searchable term.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I enjoyed having a chance to chat with you today. I know we've been talking for a while, both on and offline. So it's nice to check in with you, and it's nice to get a chance to see how you're doing. Hang back for just a second after we go off here. But I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who's in the chat. If you're watching this after the fact on either YouTube or on Twitch, we actually do most of we're trying to move things to YouTube as well because we can interact with comments afterwards. So if you have some things you want me to cover, or you want Barry to talk about, or you have some questions for either one of us, feel free to drop them in the comments. If you are new to this and you made it all the way through and you're like, oh, it's pretty entertaining, then I would love if you could consider subscribing or following one or both of us, whoever you prefer. And we both appreciate you being here as we get a chance to talk today. So, all right, we're gonna sign off, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
See ya.